galaxy near you. This is Brothers in Booze. And here are your hosts, Greg Washington and Doug Ziegler.
Pow! We're here. We
Yeah.
were, but somebody didn't hit go live. So
I don't know who that was.
Doug and I were talking to each other, and it was fun.
Yeah, we were just blabbing. And then I see somebody say, "Did the show start yet?" I'm like, no. I'm like, oh,
Yeah,
we're not live.
no.
Okay.
Well, it did, but
Yeah.
Anyway, I have a wonderful 11th hour lager, fire oak stone smoke. Excellent beer. Looking amberish. It's a Steinbach, and we are with a styles expert. So I'm looking forward to asking her what a Steinbach is, because I don't even know. And I'm an aspiring cicerone, and I'm out in the loop, and I don't even know how to hit go live. But we're here, Doug. What do you got?
I pulled from my stuff one of the many things I brought back from Barrel and Flow. This is Proclamation. This is the collab between Barrel and Flow and Burgers Brewing in Pittsburgh. So this is a Gosa sour ale with strawberry, banana, and guava. So y'all can see it's a really lovely color here. This was something that our friend Barry Jenkins really liked when we were there. He talked about, I think him and his wife got this multiple times because they enjoyed it so much. So it's a very good summer drinker, 4.5%, really tasty, very fruity, as all the ingredients would imply. So yeah, cheers.
Yeah. So as we ramp up to political season, I have a disclaimer for y'all. As we ramp up to political season, I just want to put a friendly reminder up here, and it'll be in our outro too, Doug, just so you know that our political statements are our own and are not those of our guests. So we've never made that disclaimer before. We are not making it for our guests tonight because we haven't talked it, and we're not. We just want to. We just need to put that out there. That and it's a disclaimer that we've never made. Generally speaking, y'all, our guests pretty much agree with our politics. Generally speaking. But that's not what we're here for. But right. And I don't want to be making some statements sometimes that it makes our guests feel a certain way, especially if they don't feel that way or they're not here for political statements or any of that. Now, if our guests would love to make political statements, we are here for it, and we're cool with that. But if not, they're not here for our political fuck shit, for lack of a better word, if that makes any kind of sense to you. So I don't think we're on fuck shit, Doug, but some people might.
Yeah, man, some people might.
There's that. So, so there's that, Doug. Let me crank up here. Let me make sure. It's been pretty wild today, y'all. I'm glad I'm here. But it was pretty wild. Leading up to this, so I'm not as prepared as I normally am. But I'm getting this going right now, y'all. I need my Google slide of our guests here, Doug. Wasn't able to pull it up yet, but we have a great guest for you, Doug. If you would like to start the introduction.
Sure. So we are very lucky to have M. Sauter from Pints and Panels. So this is one of my favorite beer follows. It's just it's always informative. It's fun. It's it's always like sort of a day brightener just every time you see it pop up. And I'm fortunate that I got a shirt with the proper glassware because I'm a glass nerd.
Oh, I didn't see it. Let's see it.
Yeah, check it out. So, sorry, the beard got in the way a little bit. So yeah.
It looks good on you, Doug. Looks good on you, so it must really look good.
Yeah. Thanks. I think. So anyway, I'm really looking forward to having Emma on so we could talk about Pints and Panels, and we could talk about her upcoming book and all sorts of stuff, and just beer in general. So,
and
Twitter
her and I believe the prime place to follow her, or the place that I believe you and I found her, is on Twitter. We don't call it what he wants to call it. We call it Twitter. Here you go. So if you call it the other thing, we're not going to know what you're talking about, nor do we care. But we do care for M because this is where I found M, I believe. And M is one of the, so it says here, award-winning cartoonists making visual beer education. Excuse me here, I got to mute. And The thing about M, real quick before we get her on here, Doug, is that and I would like to say it with that she can hear us and see us, but it's the connectivity of her content to people, and this makes beer education, which can be wonky, crazy, a lot of different things going on. She boils it down. Yes, I use that term to a nice wort that people digest. Look what I just did there, Doug.
Look
Give
at
me a
you.
little credit for a little bit of a beer reference, sir.
I got you. Okay. Thanks, JHG, for that disclaimer for yourself.
I mean, yeah, well, he needs it because JHG can be creepy. We all know. So then we'll just deal with the creepiness and so all right, Doug. Without further ado, I guess you should hit the button and we'll bring on our guest, M. Sauter.
Hello.
Welcome, Em.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah,
nice
thank
to
you.
see the person behind. Yeah, it's great. It's great. So first of all, y'all, real quick, again, y'all can find M here. M, where else can we find you too?
The best place to follow me is Instagram, Facebook, or on my website, which is pintsandpanels.com, which has all the things I've ever drawn for the most part in a very easy to find way. So, and it's all free. So you want to look about anything, you can find it there. So, and again, all free because beer education should be accessible. I'm not going to charge you money to learn about stuff like this. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, look at you getting
the Bostonites are coming out already.
I don't know the score. The TV's on and my husband's watching the game in the other room and we were behind. So I don't know. They were losing 2-1 when I left. So I don't know. Don't tell me, everyone, what's happening. So find out later.
No
spoilers, y'all. Come on now. What y'all doing? It's my fault for putting it up. Well, Doug, you started, so we're both at fault here.
I'll take blame for that. So,
all right, Doug, you first.
Yeah. So, there's a lot of things we want to hit, and we have a limited amount of time to do it. So, I think we kind of want to start with like sort of the roots of pints and panels. I mean, I'm sure you've gone over this a million times, but what inspired you to get into that? Was it like you were an artist and just liked beer and kind of the melding, or how did that come to be before we get into like the particulars of what we want to talk about?
So I went to cartoon school in White River Junction, Vermont. So it's the Center for Cartoon Studies. So I have an MFA in cartooning, and I was living in Vermont in 2010, which is a really good time to live in Vermont because you've got The Alchemist has its restaurant before it gets flooded. It has Von Trapp is starting to brew. Hill Farmstead, that's the first year that they're starting to brew. You've got Long Trail, Harpoon. All these things are 20, 30 minutes from my house. And I wanted to kind of have a drawing exercise while I was going. This was between my first and second year of grad school. And so I started Pints and Panels just to be able to try beer and review it. So that was it. First and foremost, it was a beer review site, and it was that for a while. And then I switched to when I was starting to take the advanced and then the master Cicerone, which I did not pass. I am not in a master Cicerone. It's a very hard exam. Kudos to everybody who can pass.
There's only 28 of them in the entire world.
I know. You really have to treat it like another job. And when you have your own business, trying to do 2 jobs is it was hard. It's a really hard exam. I'm always impressed with people who pass it. I wanted to use it as a way to practice and learn, and I'm a visual learner. And so that's when I switched to education. So it's been about 5 years or so focusing on visual beer education and now visual drinks education, so working more on cocktails as well, trying to diversify, learn as much as I can. Because the spirits, the spirits, and this is my favorite dry martini. The secret to a dry martini is don't make them so damn big. Every time you go to, where I used to live in New Haven, Connecticut, and there was a bar that's not there anymore, and they made historically sized drinks. So you could get a Manhattan, and it was, you could have a Manhattan and drive a car. So I really like making martinis at home because I can make them Emily sized, my size, and they're really. And then vermouth is for chumps. Use it to rinse it, dump it. I don't. That's what vermouth is for.
So you don't actually mix it into it. Okay.
No, it's just a bowl of gin with a little. You rinse the glass with vermouth, and then a whole lot of lemon, and that is my martini.
Lemon, not. I always olives, but I think that's a dirty martini.
I don't like olives, so you can do olives with a twist, but I always do kind of a splash of lemon juice with the twist on the side. So that's kind of that used to be my Friday night. You'd have one, and then you're like, and the feet go up, and I will not leave the couch. Because I'm a pretty big lightweight. So I try to, I'm thoughtful about drinking and whatnot. When I was studying for the WSET spirits exam, the tastings and making sure, because the thing about beer, when you judge beer, you don't spit it out. You have to swallow it, because when you swallow, you blow it through your nose. And that's a way to judge beer competitions. Liquor and wine, you spit. And so you can't do that with beer. And so when I was doing the WSET spirits exam, it was like, I was just used to like drinking all of it. I was like, I don't have to. And that made me very happy. Vodka, and I also learned vodka is delicious.
Good vodka is delicious.
Good. I had some Stolichnaya recently, and when you mix Stoli with a little water, it's so good. If you kind of you have to cut it. You can't drink straight. But when you cut it, it's really, really good. So I'm learning, learning more and more about different drinks as well, because, it's not just all about beer. It can be, but it doesn't have to be.
No, it's not. And hopefully we can get later. We can get to some food takes, because I know, I believe that one of the things about beer people like you and I, people who love to taste a lot of different beers, we're also foodies, and it's really the same thing. And so especially when like when you visit a brewery, the food is really important. And as far as keeping butts in seats and getting people in there, and especially for people who don't necessarily drink beer. And some breweries are coming around with different seltzers and having other things, non-alcoholic drinks. But when we came up, quote, in the olden days of craft beer, it used to just be a tap room and some pretzels, and you know what I mean. It wasn't really. Now we got food carts, and we got dedicated kitchens for the good ones, and that's really good. I don't know if you want to talk about because one of your wheelhouses is in my opinion, one of your wheelhouses is beer. So I think I caught on to you really early on, and I really think that I've been part of your evolution, meaning I kind of saw you when you first started, and now I can it's really great when you can get an artist, and you can get an artist when they first jump on the scene, and you can grow with them as they grow, because you've progressed into so she used to do she still does beer pairings, y'all. And if you look on her page or her website, there's all kinds of beer pairings. But also M has gotten into really, really fun things like this.
Oh, hell yeah.
And these things are really, really fun. And so we got Lord of the Rings, and we have dog breeds, and M has done all kinds of different wonderful ones, y'all. So whether it be she stretched from beer and beer and food, and beer and cheese, beer and chocolate, beer and cookies. I've seen it all out of M. In fact, I haven't seen it all actually, but I've seen a lot. So before we get to the crazy stuff, M, quote crazy, and the reason I call it crazy is because it's just non-traditional as far as when it comes to beer pairings, and that's where I feel that part of your evolution as a cartoonist, as a beer educator, these are the things that I actually feel that I saw growing with you, and I'm just happy as someone who is a fan of your work and a fan of your creativity. And so real quick though, because that was a long-winded statement.
Yes.
You want to talk real quick about the importance and the connection between beer and food, and why it's important to beer geeks like us.
Oh well,
And overall, in the whole beer scene. Why is it
yeah,
important?
beer and food. I mean, beer. I was giving a beer. I do a beer and ice cream pairing talk, and I was doing that last night at a library on the other side. I live in Connecticut, so the other side of the state, and I was explaining to them that beer and food is so broad because beer goes with all food. There's beer. There's hundreds of beer styles for the most part, and then they all taste different. And what beverage can taste like chocolate, but then at the other time can taste like tropical fruit? Look at the two beers you're drinking. One tastes like probably a fruit salad, and then the other one tastes like, is smoky and amber colored and is a lager. It's a strong lager. But they're still beer. And so there's foods that can match those things. Spirits and cocktails can do that with secondary and tertiary things, but wine really has limited flavor. Not to I don't really like though when beer people rag on wine or rag on any, that's not, they're two separate things.
Sure.
And sometimes you want wine. Wine's great. I love wine. But beer and food really work in a whole host of different things. Like you name a food and I can probably find you a beer that'll go well with that. You can't do that same for maybe wine or spirits. It's a very broad thing. So it's fun to pair beer and food because you can think of any food and beer will go with it. So it's fun. It's fun to do. And it's all about experimentation. And the thing is, beer is excessively priced. It's not super expensive. So you can kind of try, I have this can of New England IPA. Is it going to work with my dinner? I don't know. Try. Maybe it will, maybe it won't. I always remember I made nachos one night and I opened a Saison, like a real peppery phenolic Saison, and it was disgusting. That is a terrible pairing. And I was like, well, I learned a valuable lesson. Don't do that. But I didn't like it. Maybe someone else would. The nachos are really spicy, and when you have phenols and anything like triple Saisons, they're gonna fight that spice, and they're gonna be really. Oh, it's not good at all. Really
lesson learned there, right?
Yeah, and that's the thing is what is that? That beer cost me $5, and then I was just like, well, all right, I'll hold this until later, and I'll open something else, or I'll drink. It's a lesson learned that wasn't gonna break the bank.
Yeah, there is something interesting to that too, because so my wife doesn't drink quite as much beer as I do, and I don't really drink that much beer. Tonight you see me drink beer. Most of the time I don't. But just we could have the same beer with the same meal, and she could like it, and I could not. And it just everything's so subjective that like you said, you tried that and you didn't like it. Maybe somebody else would, but it's just interesting because everybody's palate is so varied.
Absolutely.
So
okay.
Go ahead, Greg. Sorry.
You got something, Doug? No, you got something?
No, well, I was just going to start jumping in on the book, but unless you have some other stuff before we hop into that, I'm good.
Look at this. It's like we've done this once or twice together. I am right there. It's time. Let's go.
All right, Em, lay it on us. Tell us about this book, please.
So my new book, Pairing Beer with Everything, comes out September 24th. You can pre-order it on my website, pintsandpanels.com, in the shop. It's I think it's the first or second thing. It's very easy to find. So those infographics you saw, that Lord of the Rings one, the dog breed, those are actually, I don't believe those are in the book. Those are new. So they didn't make the book. But this is a 170 infographics in one place. So foods, seasons, the more conceptual pairings, like seasons, every Major League Baseball team, every NFL football team gets a pairing. Hockey, I don't know, soccer's not. My knowledge of MLS is poor. I'm actually writing an article about soccer and craft beer intersecting right now for All About Beer magazine, so I'm learning a lot about MLS soccer. I'm a Tottenham Hotspurs fan, but a really terrible one. So my soccer skills are poor.
Well, they're terrible too, so it's fine.
Okay. Oh, are you like an Arsenal fan? Okay, that's fine.
No.
They usually aren't bad. They're usually like fourth or fifth.
No, they're right, but
I know what they're there with the man. Yeah, no, I know. There's a lot. Yeah, I know. I'm not. I
Yeah,
just
yeah,
it's 7:30 in the morning when they play sometimes. I just yeah.
right,
We watch every Red Sox game, or to be honest, we're our NL team. I grew up watching the Mets, so I have a real soft spot for the Mets. I just was at the game last week when Luis Severino threw a complete game shutout, and it was amazing. Baseball is our sport. I'm a New York Giants football fan because that's a Connecticut thing. So I do not root for the Patriots. I do not like the Patriots. The Patriots are awful.
I'm going to
Correct.
applaud you for that.
Yes.
Yes.
So
and
I am a New York Giants
We all
fan.
are going to. Where's that?
Thank you. No, the Giants, my family had, my uncle and then my cousin had season tickets to the Giants since the 70s. They are not good. I don't know how they'll be this year. Probably okay. They
Daniel
had a good
Jones.
draft pick. He had that one good year. He had a really good year. I liked DeVito. He was great with the cutlets. That was great.
Oh, DeVito's great. No, JSJ. Anyway, we're not doing that here.
No, I mean the Giants beat the Pats twice in the Super Bowl, and that was great. But anyway, back to the book. I could talk about sports for a really long time.
Yeah, you are a
So
sports.
I love sports. I'm a big I yell at the. My husband has to tell me that we've just gotten a bunch of new neighbors. And he's like, you can't yell at the TV because they're going to think that something's happening in the house and they're going to call the cops because I get very vocal. Our old neighbors used to know how the Red Sox were doing in the summer because our windows would be open because I would be very vocal.
You would be informing them.
Yes. And they were Red Sox fans.
Right.
He was a San Francisco Giants fan, but he liked the Red Sox. So anyway, the book is 170 my favorite chapter is world cuisine because I worked with a lot of different people from all over the world and they created the pairings and I drew them because I'm always going to give credit where credit's due where I don't know the cuisine of Argentina or other places, and so I want to make sure that I can work with a Cicerone or someone in the beer industry and they create the pairings and then I draw it and I give them credit at the bottom. I've done that with some other non-beer and food stuff too. But it's fun to, it's fun to collaborate with people. So this book is a lot of different collaborations, lots of different, you name it, it's probably there. It's fun. It's really, really fun. I enjoyed making this book a lot. And it's a self-published, so I got to do everything myself. I learned a lot about design. The publishing company I worked with who printed the book, and the book is currently on a truck going across the country because it landed in Long Beach, California last week. And so doing all the logistics, but I learned so much about I picked the wrong color for something and now I have to redo it. I mean, this book was done in February. It did not go to print until June and it was supposed to come out in March. And so I felt very bad for everyone who bought it. Shout out to so I actually have a third book that I published this year is a book in Spanish that was published by a Panamanian and Spanish publisher called Libros de Guarda. And their designer actually was instrumental in making, I was like, what am I doing wrong? And he was like, you need to fix this, and this. And he was very, very, very helpful. And same to Jason, who was the designer for my second book with Brewers Publications. He looked through the book as well and was like, you need to fix this, you need to fix this. Because I know from art school, like InDesign, but I didn't know that all the letters need to be 100% K of the CMYK, not just black. So I had to do all of it manually.
And man, you are harkening back to my days when I worked at a newspaper and I had to learn all that shit with InDesign, and that was
No, my first job out of college was I was the sports writer for the Hudson Register Star and Catskill Daily Mail in the Hudson Valley. And we used Quark. We didn't use InDesign.
I remember Quark. I
Yep.
do. Like, I'm old and I've worked in IT for 25 years, so I was in on the early stuff like that. And I just remember when we went to InDesign, that was sort of a big deal for us to jump up to InDesign, and I was just like, that was a
And
nightmare
InDesign is
for me.
hard. Like I remember learning InDesign. I mean, I would not have known InDesign or Photoshop if I hadn't gone to art school. And that's something that they really, and then they all tried to teach us Illustrator. And I was like, no, we're not going to learn that. Because Illustrator is, I have it, or I don't have it anymore, but I did. And man, Illustrator, because some people are like, oh, we need something in vector. And I'm like, I'm just going to put it in PDF and you're going to like, oof,
and you're going to like it.
And you're going to like it. And I'll make it large enough where we're going to, I just did some design work for Pacifico and they were like, we really need it in AI. And I was like, do you though? Like, I don't want to do that.
No.
Because it's so, I made the PDF huge and then sent it like via link and was like, here you go. And they were like, oh, this works. And I'm like, I know.
Yeah.
Design is really,
difficult.
Oh, sure. I mean,
it seems easy. It seems easy for people who don't do it. How about that? It's like, oh, it's design. I could do this. And then when you get in the guts, you're like, because I've been, yeah. So, Em, we never asked you. We never asked you what you were drinking, I don't think.
Oh,
yeah.
Iced tea.
Hey.
Oh, okay. All right.
It's after 9. It's after 9.
Sweet tea?
No, so it's have you ever been to it's the Tazo passion tea? They have it at Starbucks. It's really good. But unsweetened. You don't need, it's like pink, but it's it's a hibiscus. It's really, I fly through boxes and boxes of that. And I just brew it myself because I don't got $4 for going to Starbucks. It's really good. So I've been, and then it's in a Barth hops, whatever this is. It's a fake hydro flask. So it's kind of like beer. I had what did I drink today? I mean, I don't have the can. I had a ranch water with dinner. I really like those. I know that's hard seltzer. My husband had a Palatine Pills from Suarez.
That's one of Daniel Fisher's favorite.
His can is
all right.
There's a little left at the bottom. We had tacos for dinner, so.
Oh, that would.
Oh, so did I.
Go well.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. Doug.
I went to a I went to a brewery for lunch at lunch today, so I did have beers. So it wasn't like
we don't. There's no requirements here, actually. Zero requirements here. And Doug used to have themes for every Friday for his beer. And Doug, I didn't do this intentionally, but I have another smoky ass beer here, Doug. We got Old World Wisconsin and Working Draft Brewing Company here in Madison did a historic Braun beer. You ever hear of this one, Em? Braun beer?
Braun would be a brown. That's brown. Braun isn't Braun the German word for brown? So we have brown beer. Yeah.
Yeah. It's
your the first beer you had, because you want, what was it, a Steinbach?
Steinbach, yeah.
That's just strong. That's just Strongbach. It's not an official style. It would have just been it would have been a strong lager. And then that's just a brown. I mean, Rauch beers usually are unfiltered or like smoked Märzens. Yeah. So it would be brown.
And this is smoked, Doug, and it's more smoked than that one before. It actually advances it. It actually gets into that what I call almost obnoxious smoke level, which I love, and I love to live in it. But some people would drink it and be like, "This is way too smoky." Just pair it with some ribs, and you're good. And this would be amazing. But this is really amazing. Working Draft Brewing Company is one of our better ones here in Madison. It never reaches out of Madison. I don't even think they self-distribute, but they don't distribute big. But they really do lagers really well. And they do Czech beers amazingly. They had a Czech fest with all the different kind of pours. It was amazing. Those big, what's the pour that's all foam? That is just amazing.
Oh, the milk. Yeah, the milk pour.
I could do those all day.
Is that what they do when they do like the slow pour Pilsners? Like when they make it, it's like super foamy and it's like coming out of the grass. It's that
They
kind of
can.
pour.
Mhm.
But
No,
you
the
said,
milk pour would be all foam. So it would be the mug, and
Yeah,
it's
it's
just
all
it's
foam.
not the top.
oh,
The
okay.
slow pour is when because you want to build it, and then the foam's on top. That's when the foam gets real thick.
Yeah.
So
Sorry, I was
it's
just
Yeah.
trying to clarify
yeah.
that.
Yeah, and this is where I lose details because if it's just so good, I don't really care. I'm like, this is just amazing. So I've had my first milk pour. Daniel, you know what this is, but it was really it was like a couple weeks ago. It was amazing. It was my first time having that, and I was like, wow, I could just drink these all day. I mean, it does make you gassy and all that, but that, whatever. You deal with those consequences, you know. Doug, do you have a second one before we get to
Yeah,
the
real
next thing
quick.
we got for him?
Yeah, so I have another thing that I pulled was a loaf of lager from two locals out
Oh,
of Philly, which is where Greg is from, Philly originally. So just straight up lager, meets all the criteria,
nope.
I believe. So it's like a more of a light lager though, especially with the color and the ABV, but like super drinkable as it should be, like really easy and smooth and yeah.
So I got into the craft beer thing basically because I just love I love the beer scene, but I love the history of beer. I love the chemistry of beer. I love the social aspect of beer. I love how beer affects history. I love how beer you know, like the social aspect of it, the underlying, you know, beer over, you know, crazy beer, people drinking like idiots. Kind of, I like the underlying scene, which is the social aspect, the dynamics of a good, you know, brewery, the dynamics of a good tap room, things like that really fascinate me. So that's where I got into it. But once I really started to get in them, I wanted to just educate people in it. I wanted the people to realize that beer is just so multi-level outside of this, you know, picking up a 24 pack and going to see the Packers. Like there's just more to it. And I'm in Wisconsin, so that's really, we are one of the most strongest beer communities, states. We drink a whole lot of beer. We have a whole lot of respect for it. A lot of us don't have respect for it. So I really, really appreciate and respect our beer educators. I think that they're amazing. So I wanted to talk about that real quick with you. I did a couple of researches on you, and Doug and I when we do our guest research, we kind of, or at least I know I do. I know Doug does sometimes. We kind of want to avoid like the same, especially if you are a person like you who's been in, you know, a lot of media. We don't want to kind of repeat the same kind of questions, and we kind of want to give you a different little vibe and all that. So I talked to you a little bit about it before. How I wanted to talk about. I wanted y'all to talk about your educators, or your beer educators, or people that have inspired you, or where you got a lot of beer education from. Because again, as I said in pre-thing, I think you're one of our best beer educators out there. And the reason I say best is because you make it really, really simple. The graphics are easy to see. They can hit almost anybody. It's very relatable. It's visual. There's really little reading, so you can just grab. You can literally scroll through M's timeline and just grab. And I just get fascinated by when you stop, um, or when I stop and I actually just focus on one of those things, whether it's, you know, for example, I know I'm being long-winded here, but I apologize. For example, this, for someone who's studying styles, I mean, this is just amazing to me. It has everything that you need to know, and everything is just right there. There's explanations, but it's simple and it's short and it's sweet and it's great. Sometimes our educators need to be that way. That's your focus and that's what you're doing. You do it great. But I wanted to talk to y'all about some of the ones that inspired you. So M, you mentioned. Do you want to talk about the educator that you brought up?
Yeah, sure. So the book that when people are like, "Oh, I don't know what to. I'm new to beer. I don't know how to learn about beer. Or I'm overwhelmed." I always tell them, one, you could buy my book. You know, or I love Randy Mosher's Tasting Beer. I think Randy's the nicest man in the whole world. I remember when I judged Great American Beer Fest with him, and it was just me and him all morning. or it was all after. It was sometime where it was because they split the table in two. So sometimes there's like 3 people, and then sometimes there's only 2.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember every time he's like, well, what do you get? And I was like, oh, I was so nervous. And I'm like, why am I nervous? Like, why am I? And I remember being like, oh, I get because he's just so like, I was like, oh, I think I get plastic. He's like, styrene? Do you get styrene? Like, he gets really intense. And I just learned so much by spending that time with him. He's just also that when I remember meeting him for the first time. And then the next time I saw him, he was like, oh, Em, it's so great to see you. And I was like, Randy knows me. You know, like, it's one of those things, like, I get excited about beer people too. Like, he's just so smart and nice, and tasting beer is without a doubt the best all-encompassing. Like, have that book out rather, and open it to any page and you're going to learn something. His beer and food chapter is, when I teach beer and food, I lean really heavy on that book because it is such a great, it's not that long, but you learn so much. And then every style, if you're studying for, especially your level 2 Cicerone, I mean, granted, the second edition is almost 10 years old now, but I mean, it was reformulated for taking the certified Cicerone exam. And Ray Daniels wrote the foreword to it, and it's just a good. I own both, the first and the second. Stan Hieronymus signed my first edition because I met Stan Hieronymus in 2010. And I was like, oh, like I was telling you in Pints and Panels, I just started it. And he goes, oh, you need to own tasting beer. And I bought it, and he signed it on the inside. So which is a little bizarre. Yeah, but it's also, Stan is also just the nicest person as well. I mean, his books are way more technical.
In the world.
But the hops book especially is a really great book. And beer people are just nice, too, for the most part. It's always really nice to talk to people in beer. When people come up to me and they want to talk to me about beer, I want to talk to them. I'm never like, go away, don't bother me. Like, I'm very excited when people are like, oh, I know who you are. Let's talk about beer. And I'm like, absolutely. I have all the time in the world for this because it's important. And I also love beer as much as everybody else does. It's my passion and my lifestyle, It's great. Beer is wonderful. Traveling for beer, tasting beer, trying different beers, going to, every town in America almost has a brewery. Like, go into your local brewery, seeing beer is so regional. It's just beer's fun.
Yeah.
Beer is fun. So, one of our other favorites here is
Do love Doug.
I picked this one out for Doug and he's been on our stream once. He's always welcome back here. He's great. I know, Doug, you probably want to say a few words about Doug Vilicki.
Just that guy talks about interesting things with beer and trends, like talking about beer trends, the way he talks about, that's the thing that really is fascinating. And he'll talk because he's been in the weeds in beer brewing for a long time. So he understands, like, here's the reason why this is why we charge this much for a 4-pack of barrel-aged beer. Like, something as simple as that. And he just kind of breaks it down, but he breaks it down in a way that's it's embraceable and something you can understand. And it's like, I think that's how you are, Em, is you strive to make something very approachable. And that's what he does.
Is it palatable, Doug? Is it palatable?
Yeah, palatable. Thanks. And he's a Doug, so I'm going to like him regardless. But yeah.
Excellent,
I do have
your own here.
Yeah, I have a second one.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, no, that's cool. And I'm glad I see who it is, and I'm glad you did this because he's one that I wanted to spotlight. So go right ahead, Doug.
Yeah, I think, Em, actually, you just did something with this guy. It's our guy, Jeff Allworth.
Oh, yeah. He was on the All About Beer podcast.
Yeah.
It was a full episode, too. So, and Randy's been on the All About Beer and Stan. It's a really fun podcast to do. And we had Jeff on, and he just talked forever about not beer myths, but romantic facts. So, like, is Stella really from 1340? And does it matter? Certain things that are kind of, why does everyone say Guinness tastes better in Ireland than, in America? And why is that? And there was a lot. He made a huge list, and we just went through all of them, myself and Dantes, who's my the co-host of the All About Beer podcast. And it was a really fun thing to do. Because Jeff is just such a nice guy as well. Again,
Mhm.
because beer people are nice, and I really, I really like Jeff a lot. He's a
Yeah.
very good person and a very like thoughtful and creative beer person. Always brings in a different perspective that when I read his stuff, I was like, oh, I didn't think of that. That's thought provoking. So he's great.
Yeah.
His journalism is excellent.
Yeah, he's been on the show too, but that was a while back, I think.
Should have him
Yeah,
back.
yeah, it's time. It's time. So let's go through. We still have some more things to do with them. So let's go through mine real quick, Doug.
Yep.
Number one on my list is let's see here. I got to make sure I'm ready for him. So first of all, my first one is Michael Jackson. Not that
Not
Michael
him.
Jackson. This Michael Jackson. He was an English writer and journalist. If y'all probably notice, if y'all a beer geek, y'all probably notice one of those or two of those books down there. He made these wonderful, what do they call them? Tabletop dining room table, or what do they call them? Like, tabletop pieces
Books.
where they're
Yeah.
like big brick of books and you open them up. And you remember when, I know Doug might come after me for this one, but remember when books were more like centerpieces and they were like big bulky pieces. I don't think that they're that way anymore, and we've kind of gotten away with it from with Kindle books and stuff like that. But this guy makes like solid great books. I picked up, I think, the Ultimate Beer book, and I was just fascinated, and it was part of why it was part of Coffee Table Books. Thank you, JC. It was part of my inspiration to do what I do, or to try to be a beer educator. I'm not really, I wouldn't say that I'm effective at it that much, but one-on-one with different people, I think that's where I thrive. I'm probably less good broadcasting like Em does. Folks like Em are just amazing because she can talk to a whole lot of people. I don't know if I'm that guy. I'm more of a one-on-one person, but Michael Jackson was my start. So shout out to Michael Jackson. Point number two is person number two is my friend Julia Hers, as you can see. We met up at Bar and Flow. Julia is not only the executive director of the Home Brewers Association, she was also what does this say here? So I get it right and I don't want to get it wrong. She was the craft beer program director and publisher of craftbeer.com, which is a website that I used extensively when I was learning, and I still use it. I use the brewery locator and all that. But what I didn't know about Julia was that she led the development of the Brewers Association Independent Craft Beer Seal, which kind of caused a little controversy if y'all remember back. But it was also a really good thing as far as when people wanted to really know, and I still kind of want to know if y'all independent, who owns y'all, if y'all mom and pop and all that. So Julia, her beer pairing book is essential in my opinion. It's fucking excellent. Excuse my language, but it's really excellent. And she's great. And she's someone that not only do I know as a friend, but I used her as an education. She was part of my education. The videos that she was putting out there on craftbeer.com back in the day were just epic and amazing. And it's great. And lastly, this guy, this handsome guy, the Wisconsin beer baron. I don't know if there's one person that had more of a profound effect on my beer education than this guy. And it's great because I can consider him a friend, a colleague. He's just an all around great guy. He's the executive editor of Milwaukee Magazine. But I learned, I can't say enough about, he always blushes kind of like he's doing there. It looks like he always blushes when I talk about him. And I just learned so much from him, when I was coming up at a good time. He had a weekly column in a Wisconsin State Journal. And I just went and read that thing every week. And I just learned about the Wisconsin beer scene and all that. So the long story shorter, real quick, is that I saw that he was doing some like fundraiser for journalists in Wisconsin. And like it was open to the public and it was a fundraiser. So I was like, oh, I'm gonna go and just buy tickets and just meet the beer baron. And we just hit it off. And then like 2 years later I approached him. Like I approached M one time with a project idea. And Chris was like, yo, that's a great idea. So now we do the Badger Beer Hour together, and Chris is just excellent. He's excellent to work with. He's a friend. He's great. But really though, summing up, I've learned so much from Chris Drosner. It's just really amazing, and it's also amazing that he agreed to work with me on a project that we love a lot. And we've been doing it for 4 years, Badger Beer Hour. So shout out to Chris, shout out to Julia, shout out to all of them, and shout out to beer educators, because again, I think that there's an important aspect of this where you know we can educate people, and beer can be a delicacy, beer can be a fine drink. You know, I think beer should be talked about like wine. People have this level of like wine is like some kind of like elite kind of, you know what I mean, that you know that the aura around wine is, you know what I mean, elite
It's
and delicate
sophisticated.
and it's sophisticated. And I think beer is all that and more. And I think folks like UM and Randy and Julia and Christopher Barron, all of y'all help these ideas. So I will shut up and let you comment on any of the things that we talked about or any of the people that we brought up, and then we'll go to the next subject, and then we'll start to wrap for you, because we know you got other things to do.
I mean, that's a really good list. I was trying to think of other people, and there's some really good new. I really like Jen. I wanted to give a shout out to Jen Blair, new master Cicerone. She works for Cicerone. Writes in a really great newsletter. Also a really nice person. She was at Barrel and Flow. We walked around together.
Yeah,
really.
I met her there. I met her there for her panel that she did.
Oh yeah, she's
really?
phenomenal. And yeah, she's got a new project. She won't tell me what it is, and I'm excited to learn all about it. She's a really good person in beer. She really cares about beer a lot. Beer educators, I always find that beer, when people don't consider it, I made a list of why beer doesn't compete with wine and spirits for like that kind of like fine dining tier. And it's there's certain things like beer gets bought in the grocery store. In Connecticut, where I live, you can only buy beer in the grocery store. You can't buy wine. It's not like California, where I know you can buy like a handle of vodka. But we don't have that in Connecticut. You can only buy beer. But people treat it like a pantry item or a staple more so than something that's, a lot of people drink beer daily. It's part of certain routines. I made a whole list, and that's the only one I can think of right now. I guess also the accessibility of price. If beer were really, really expensive, would people treat it with more sophistication because it's expensive? I don't know. It's also an agricultural product. Beer expires. Beer, after 3 or 4 months, an IPA can taste pretty bad. Whereas a bottle of wine has much more stability. Same thing with liquor. And so it's just, I think it's more of an agricultural pantry item than I almost consider it a food. Than like I don't know, but it doesn't diminish it at all. I just think beer is so great, and it's so accessible and interesting. I mean, you can go to a liquor store and find the best beer in the world, and it's what, $6, $10. You can go into most liquor stores and buy Saison DuPont. You can buy Orval. You can and if you're in California, you can walk into any Whole Foods and buy fresh Pliny the Elder, $6 a bottle. Like what? I mean, that's amazing. That's really, really amazing. And so it's fun. I wrote an article about it for Forbes last year, where it's like, yes, you can afford to buy the best beer in the world, and made a list of beers I think most industry people would consider the best in the world. And it's very nice to see that that beer has that accessibility as well. So
yeah, I think also when people think beer, they think the Coors Lights and because that's the mass produced stuff. So
yeah, I mean, and that has its place too. I gave a talk last night, like I said, and I mentioned that so everyone always has a macro of choice, and I'm a big Miller Lite drinker. I love Miller Lite. It's the cleanest of the three. Coors has that corny note, and Bud is too. I like Bud, and I like Coors. They are all fine. It's just Bud is too sweet. I did the homebrew tasting exam, and they gave us an American light lager. This was many years ago, and I gave it a 42, and I was like, "Who brewed this? This is great, wonderful, nice esterification, little light." And they were like, "Oh, that was Miller Lite," and I was like, "I will be a Miller Lite drinker forever." And now we have a dive bar near our house, and they have Bud, Miller, and Coors on draft. I don't know. I've never seen a bar
I'll
with.
do the Miller Lite.
That's weird.
And I'm
That's
always
weird.
They have PBR on. Sorry for my clock. They have PBR. They have Modelo on. It's a college bar.
He said PBR. Yeah.
They have PBR.
Oh, my bad.
PBR.
My bad.
Yingling. And they serve all of them in a 25-ounce mug, or on Sundays they serve
A
it in
25-ounce mug?
Yeah, $4. And on Sundays they'll serve it in a 25-ounce mug in the shape of a football.
Okay, that's kind of cool.
Although I'm a little worried, they just sold. So the
no.
bar changed hands, and they took the thing I eat off the menu. But I hope they still have Miller Lite on. I'm assuming.
Can I ask a question about that super quick?
Of course, yeah.
Are you a person that when you find something at a particular place, you just eat that one thing every time you go?
Absolutely, 100%.
Yeah.
I'm also the person that looks at the menu before I go to a restaurant.
Yeah, my wife does that, and she maps out parking, she maps out what the menu is, and then she goes and still looks at the menu and freezes. So it's
Is anything spontaneous anymore, y'all?
Your wife sounds like. I mean, we go to the pizza place near it's not near my house. It's in the 2 towns over. But the pizza's really good, and we get a large cheese pizza, because if the pizza's good, the cheese has to be good, just plain cheese.
Absolutely.
And then my favorite beer that's distributed in Connecticut is by a brewery called Counterweight. They're in Cheshire, Connecticut. It's like central Connecticut. It's a pretty large brewery, but they just started to distribute in Massachusetts, and they make a beer called Headway, which is a hazy IPA, and it is excellent. And they sell so much of it that when you go and buy it anywhere, and I mean anywhere, the oldest you'll find it is 3 weeks.
Wow.
And they sell it for like $9 a 4-pack. 6.5% hazy IPA. $9.
Damn.
$10.
Really
$10, depending on where. It's the best. It's and it's a great brewery. They make a Rauschbach. That's probably one of the best beers I had this year. At their lager program is I served their Workhorse IPA. The owner of the brewery gifted me a half barrel as a wedding present, and we served it at our wedding. Excellent beer. They make a Keller Pils called Workhorse. It's a wonderful brewery. Connecticut has a beer scene that not a lot of people know about. Very insular. We don't really have brands that leave the state, and Counterweight's probably the
besides Two Roads.
Best. Two Roads, yes. It's really the only one that.
I'm sorry, Em. Go.
No. Go ahead.
No. You go.
I was going to say that's really the only one that leaves the state. Most of them are really small. Some don't even distribute. Some distribute to small restaurants, or you have to go to the place to buy cans. Counterweight is probably the two that I really like the most that are easy to find is Counterweight, and then New England Brewing Company, which is in like the New Haven area. I was there today, actually. Nice. They make a beer called Sea Hag, which is an American IPA, and you can buy a 6 of that for $9.
Damn.
It's Connecticut has and then we have excellent happy hour culture. Happy hours in Connecticut are excellent.
So JHG, yeah, it's a damn good hazy, but that price, JHG, too. That price,
that's also that's a damn good price.
Yeah. And I just wanted to say, you're in Connecticut, so you have Rhythm Brewing. So good on you for that.
Yes, we do. That is
Good on you for that. Yeah. Cheers, Doug. You had a question, and then right before we let her go, we gotta get some food things in here. We gotta find a way to maybe food shame her, Doug.
Yeah. Okay. Very quick. What's a style you wish you saw more of?
You know what? This is gonna sound really crazy. More amber ales. I really like a good amber ale. In South America, I was in Chile last year. That's their like flagship. Every brewery makes an amber ale, and I was like, "This is the best in the whole world. I love this." It's just a good
Amen.
style and like very old school, and I'd love to see more amber ales.
It's a good one.
Yeah, I think the problem with amber ales, as far as craft beer goes, is that they were the first wave, in my opinion, of craft beer.
Yeah.
The what was it? The what did it? To me, I think I know Doug doesn't like it, but I know that to me, Yingling Lager is a amber ale, basically. What was the other one? Pete's Wicked Ale. Was that an amber? There was a couple
that was
different
like a
ones
brown,
that
more of
came-
a brown ale.
more of a brown ale.
Pete's
Yeah,
Wicked
there
was the
a
first
couple-
beer I bought when I turned 21. And I told Pete Slossberg is a friend of mine, and I told him that he likes when I tell that story.
Nice.
He's from
Yeah,
Connecticut.
I have my issues with Yingling, but that's because of their politics. So
They do have, their
Well,
politics are not.
My issue is that shit gave me headaches, but that's another story for another time.
That's
Anyway,
Foster's Australian for headache.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So, we have, before we let you go, we usually ask people. So I really wanted to ask you food questions because, again, your connection with beer and food and all that. So, here's one of the food questions we have for you. I don't even know if I want to let Doug answer because Doug.
No, I can be quiet. Go ahead.
No. You can. It's all a joke. So, ketchup is not available.
Okay.
What are you adding to these?
Am I allowed to add anything, but just
Yeah,
not ketchup?
You're allowed to add anything. Now we may push back on you.
So, in Europe, they have like that curry sauce. That's like, it's not ketchup. I forget what it's called, but that stuff.
I think they call it curry sauce.
It's just curry sauce. That is the best on, like a curry mayo on fries is really, really good. That is what I would say. I forget the brand. It's like almost like an
Mayo.
HP sauce, like a brown, but it's curry and it's really, really, really good. But it's not ketchup. That's what I would.
Okay.
Any flavored mayo is usually quite good. I like a garlic mayo is also really good on fries.
So, does it have to be mayo or can it be aioli?
Can be aioli. Aioli isn't aioli mayo? That's the same thing.
It's mayo based. Yes.
Yeah.
I'm
Same
being
thing.
a jackass with that one. For sure. Look at this. Sriracha aioli. It's sriracha mayo, JHG. Doug, I'm going to reluctantly let you answer.
I actually agree with Em. Like, I hadn't thought of that, but when she said that, I had that when we were over in Ireland and Scotland for our honeymoon, which was freaking 10 years ago, which I still can't believe. But I remember having a curry sauce with fries. I'm like, this is excellent. The only other alternative would be making it into poutine, but that's like kind of cheating because it's 2 ingredients. Because then you're having gravy and cheese curds. But yeah.
That's not cheating because that's my answer. I was literally going to say, you got to poutine it out, period. Gravy, put those curds on there. Look, Doug, we're not supposed to be eating these things anyway. So
No,
if we're
we're
going
not.
to, might as well just go full in.
Go full bore,
That's where I'm at. Yeah, give me like 2 or 3 spoon forks of it, and I'm good. So, Em, I'm gonna squeeze another one in here. I know that you're a sports ball head, so I'm gonna make an assumption, Doug, that a sports ball head loves wings. Is that a good assumption?
That is an excellent. We have an excellent wing place near our house called J. Timothy's Tavern. Shout out to J. Tim's.
We have this.
What do you?
I want to. Yeah. What do we want to do here? Do we want to do the worst or the best? What do we? You get to pick. You can pick your favorite ones out of here, or you can pick ones that you would never ever eat.
So I would do the buffalo, but I would do it the way that the bar I go to does, where you double fry them. So you sauce them, you fry them, sauce them, and then fry them again, and then you sauce them again. And they call it dirt style, and it is
outrageous.
The best. Any dry, and then the worst. Any dry rub on a wing is a no. Yeah.
No, I agree.
You need sauce. You need the sauce. No, you need sauce. No dry rub.
I knew y'all were going to do something
Sorry.
wild.
They're supposed to be messy. Dry rub's not messy.
Yeah, and then
Probably not
flats,
supposed-
and then my husband eats the drums, and this is why our marriage works.
I'm a flats person myself.
All flats, and then my husband eats the drums.
So,
But
Doug,
that
you want to do the
makes-
same?
But that makes it work for you, Em, right? You
That's
guys
why
can
we're.
have
That's
your
why
way.
we've been together for almost 12 years. That is why
Yeah.
we've. That is. It's just the wings.
Yeah.
That's it. Other than that, no, I'm joking.
Y'all,
the wings
y'all-
are
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah.
y'all dry rubs takes are foul. See what I did there? Anyway, Doug.
Mine's sweet chili.
We got
That's
here,
that's the best. I fucking love sweet chili because it's like sweet, hot, all that shit. That's my jam.
And which one would you get rid of here if you had to like exclude one?
Extra
Extra hot, right?
Because that shit I can't handle. So yeah, that's just me because I can't handle it. So yeah.
So my answer is all. Next.
All right.
Literally, not even a joke. My shit's all. But anyway, so one last thing here, is so you got merch on your
I do.
on your site, right? Yeah, let's tell us about it.
So I've got shirts. Doug's modeling one of my shirts. I have books that I'll sign. I do commissions. So if you want your house drawn, you want your favorite bar drawn, you want your family drawn, I can do that. There's lots of different prints. If there's a print on the website that you really, really like, I'm pretty sure it's on the merch store for sale. So there's so much stuff, hundreds and hundreds of things. And the art prints are available some of them are available in card forms, so smaller, posters up to 18 by 24 inches. There's glassware. There's Cicerone study guides. So if you're studying, there's for Cicerone or anything, there's food prints. There's,
art.
There's
beautiful.
hops. There's everything. You name it, it's there. So, and then, there's lots of different bottles and cans. So, and if you're looking for something drawn, I can draw your favorite beer for commissions. There's so much stuff on there. Please shop.
Toco banger. Yeah.
Help visual
look at
drinks
that.
education by buying some merchandise. I'd be very appreciative of it. And
Yes.
I work with a really great printer, and the quality is it's fine art printing. So the printing is very, very high quality. I'm very happy with very reasonably priced. And $10 from every commission goes to Beer Culture because they're a wonderful organization and I love their work. So
Sweet.
Love Beer Culture.
Love them.
I think Em answered this. April, both. Doug.
Drums.
So
flats.
thank you.
Excuse me. I said flats. Sorry. I like the flats.
Okay. Yeah, the flats are. They're both. I don't know. Anyway, Em, we want to thank you.
Thank you so much for having me on. This was a lot of fun.
Yeah, so y'all need to travel to Pints and Panels. Y'all all also need to travel to a great podcast here, all about beer. You can find that at allaboutbeer.com. Em already name dropped 3 or 4 craft beer legends that they've had on, and I'm sure they've had more.
It's a really great. We have every 2 weeks there's a new episode. So, and I've been really focused on getting people to learn about styles outside of America. So we just did one about the Catarina Sour, which is a Brazilian beer style.
Ooh.
And then a couple episodes before that, we did the Pacific Ale, which is a very popular beer style from Australia. It's kind of like if take a hazy IPA, but make it session. So make it under 5 and then dry the ever living crap out of it. So it's super dry. It's really, really good. And so we had 2 guests on to talk about the Pacific Ale. And so I've been working on trying to make sure that people know, beer is a global beverage and there are some really cool styles that are made outside of, your wheelhouse. And so I want to educate people about those styles as well. So yeah, It's really, really fun to do. And Don is a big nerd, and he's a lot of fun to work with. He's my co-host, and he will make jokes about malt protein, but you can just, you can ignore that.
So
Geeky
one last
beer
question
joke.
before you go.
Yeah, last question before you go.
New England IPA and chocolate chip cookie. Try it.
What?
Phenomenal.
Really?
It's like one of those like break apart oranges that you get at Christmas.
Oh yeah. We get those
It
every
was
year.
just, I had a chocolate chip cookie. I was at a brewery and I took a sip and I was like, this is the best thing I've ever eaten. So yeah,
Wow.
that is the best. That is a really,
Okay.
really good. Yeah.
There you go. There you go. All right. On that note, Doug, unless you're good, we just want to thank you,
Thank you very
for being here, and I want to thank you for your beer education and what you do for the beer, not only beer Twitter but beer society as a whole. Again, educating people on beer is important. It's not just some drink that we just all drink and do crazy things on. M and I likes when I say M liked when I said before I hit go live, which was I missed a whole bunch, but anyway.
much.
I'm a beer taster, not a beer drinker. And that's generally how I am, especially now, Doug, that I can't have 6 or 7 beers, at a time like I used to. I am literally just a beer taster now, and I love tasting beer. And I love that you're out there on the front lines teaching people about it. So if y'all can get the pints and panels, get to the I need to hit that store, Doug. I saw you already hit it. I need to hit the store.
Yes, sir.
I need at least one piece of M's wonderful art in my house. So we're gonna do that. So M, last words, and we want to thank you.
Yep. Thank you so much for having me on. This was a lot of fun. It's fun to talk about beer and beer education. It's what I do. It's what I love. I'm just so happy that people are enjoying Pints and Panels, and I look forward to many more years of teaching and educating and being passionate about beer.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Excellent.
Really appreciate you joining us tonight.
Yeah, of course. All right, guys. I'll see you later.
Thanks, man.
Cheers.
Yep.
All right.
Cheers.
Ooh,
did I cut her off?
I think you did. And then she just logged off. So it's all good.
Yeah. So y'all enjoy that. At the very least, y'all should go give her a follow on X if you're Twitter if you're still on that BS.
And
if
IG,
you're not on that, she said sorry, Doug. She said IG is her main place. So hit her up on IG, y'all. Pints and Panels. Y'all be good over there. And yeah, I found her on Twitter, so that's where I'm at. But yeah, like her website, man, y'all. If y'all any beer, or she could do your family. She could do beer. It doesn't have to be beer. She could probably do cocktails for you. She's into cocktails now, so yeah, man, yeah. So that was fun. Doug, you have a third beer. I think I'm gonna pass.
I do.
But
that's okay. I have one because I wanted to drink this one. It's a Black is Beautiful beer from Funky Town. Yeah, so Baltic Porter 7.1 called Jazz Nights. But this is the first Black is Beautiful Volume 2 beer that I found. And I found it at Barrel and Flow, of course. So,
what do you mean you found it? Where'd you steal that shit from? Don't lie.
I don't know. Somebody had it and gave it to me. I don't remember who it was.
Okay. I know we have a routine on Fridays where we stash beers that are hanging out at the.
I was stashing beers all weekend.
Yeah, we tell everybody our secrets, right? I stashed a couple of Hannah's ciders. Mm-hmm. Right. That's how we do it.
Cheers.
Speaking of Hannah's ciders, man. I'm sorry. I'll no. You finish and then we'll talk about Hannah's ciders.
I'll talk about it and then I'll drink it and tell you what I think.
No, I just gotta make sure I get to dope next year. Her ciders are, again, I'm not a cider person, as y'all know. I'm not a cider person, but her ciders are just approachable and fun, and really I like them. But I really want to try her smoothies, though. She got those cider smoothies. I'm sorry, I'm down for a beer smoothie. Y'all can shame me all you want. Doug, what was going on with Funky Town?
What's interesting is the Baltic Porter is drinking a little bit more like a straight porter. like Baltic porters sometimes to me are a little bit sweet. This is definitely not that, but it is so tasty and so good. Like I'm really enjoying the shit out of this. So yeah, Funky Town, somebody that I hope we can get on here sometime. I know you've talked to a couple of the guys in it, and I have not. So
Good luck with all that. But they're good dudes. They mean well. They're great, actually. I love Funky Town. They're
they're just
literally
crazy
one of my
busy.
favorite. What's that?
They're just crazy busy.
They're crazy busy. They're crazy fun. They're crazy talented. And yeah, but there's a festival coming up here early in September that I think I'm gonna attend. I'm gonna try to attend, and they will be at the Project Pilot Festival.
Oh,
So
yeah,
I
that's
think
right. I
I'm
saw that.
yeah, I think I'm gonna try to get there. But yeah, Funky Town, man. Unless y'all in the Midwest, it's gonna be hard to get them, or unless you go to Barren Flow. But they're just excellent. They literally they're the port. I know JSG will love this one. They're the port city of black craft brewers, in my opinion. Meaning they hit literally every style, and they usually just make beers on style. In fact, when I first saw them, they had like 8 beers, and they were just all on style. Now, the last couple times I've seen them, they seem to be getting a little bit more. I don't think creative is the word. I'm not sure. Like where our friend April Dove. So now April doesn't. Again, at least I haven't had it. April doesn't do traditional styles. April does styles, and then she adds her own flair to it. And that shit's good. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah,
But
it
it's
is.
yeah, hell yeah, it is. But it's a different philosophy, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? Some brewers
Sure.
just stick to the style guidelines. Some brewers, fuck around and go crazy. And what did April have? Cornbread, cream ale. Jesus Christ, that shit was good though.
That banana pudding sour this year was just
Banana pudding, sour, and then what did she have last year? That was dope. There was something else that wasn't.
There's another thing she had. I can't remember what it was. It was she had the
It was like a
cornbread cream ale.
right, but it was like a tropical punch kind of. It didn't taste like beer. It tasted like fruit punch. It
was awesome though.
Yeah.
April's
So,
got the goods, man.
Right. We just got to get somebody down there in South Carolina to fully embrace April and the wonderful things that she's doing. And that's just difficult. Yeah.
That's it.
Yes.
That was good.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was good. All right, Doug. I don't know. I don't know, Doug. What do you want to talk about? Do we just want to get out of here soonish? Probably.
Could we do a quick? Well, now that we don't have the guest, do you want to do a quick recap of the last 4 days, of 5 days of?
Oh,
stuff?
we want to talk about that.
Yeah,
real quick. I know.
Yeah, go ahead.
How about a quick food question? I know you're gonna. I know the answer to this
ahead.
one. You already know. This is really more for folks who are watching this. I already know what you're going to say here. So again, maybe you'll surprise me. But I only know, Doug, when we've talked about it before. I don't assume that I know if we didn't talk about it. If that makes sense. So
sure.
So Doug is most likely going to say mozzarella sticks, right, Doug?
Yes. Mozzarella sticks are fucking tasty as shit. Now, here's the thing, but mozzarella sticks need to be dipped in something. So do nachos, but nachos have a bunch of cheese on top of them. Grilled cheese is all about. It's not just about it's got to be good bread and good cheese, mac and cheese. Fuck, that's a staple. Mozzarella sticks are just barely missing the cut. It's that or nachos. Like literally, those are the two. Because mac and cheese and grilled cheese are unassailable to me. What about you?
Who was the motherfucker that we had on the stream that said that they didn't like mac and cheese? Was that Ren? I think it was Ren.
It might have been Ren. We're gonna have to grill him about that because he'll be on next week, I think.
Yeah, I was trying to segue to that real quick before we get to. But next week, y'all, we got Ren in the house. Yeah. Wait, do you know how to say his meadery?
Yeah, mulinated.
There we go. Thank you.
Daniel
Mulinated
Fisher,
meadery.
listen, dude, I get it. I'm you got the lactose issue. I just can't eat it because it's fucking crazy high in sodium. But like, I get missing
Wait,
that stuff.
he misses mozzarella sticks. Is that what he's saying?
Or mac and cheese, or because he's got lactose
Oh,
intolerance.
he said those. I
So
see
all the
those.
cheese stuff is difficult. So
Yeah, and while we can't have it, um,
I haven't had
uh-huh.
chips mac and cheese, and damn it, I want to
Now,
try that
I
shit
want it.
now.
Yeah, now I want it now. Right.
Send it up to New York, Jeff.
So we can relate to Daniel in a way is that like we couldn't literally eat that whole plate of food. We could have one or two, Doug, right?
Yeah.
We could have some, but we can't eat the whole. Like I used to house a whole ass order of mozzarella sticks. But anyway, Doug, hold on. Back to the mozzarella sticks though. You said you had to have a dipping sauce. Is that marinara or what is that?
Definitely marinara. It's an Italian thing to me. So a good marinara sauce to dip that shit in, just to be like, basically, it's like, here's your tiny pizza in a stick form that you dip in sauce to make it like a pizza. That's how I kind of view it. It's
Unless mac and cheese made me violently ill, I don't. I feel you, Daniel. I don't know how I could give up mac and cheese. I just don't.
Oh,
So
good point there, April. That's a good point. Good honey mustard could work too.
wait. Honey mustard with fucking mozzarella sticks? Is that what
Yeah,
I'm hearing?
I'm telling you, it's much better than it sounds. My youngest son is a giant honey mustard person. He dips everything in honey mustard. Mozzarella sticks are one of them. I said, that sounds gross. He goes, try it. And I was like, okay, that's really good. Okay, I'm staying corrected.
So, okay. I'll never say never, but that just sounds weird. But anyway, Doug, speaking of not sounding weird, do you have something you want to discuss?
All right, so let's do a quick. We had 4 days at the Democratic National Convention, and there was a million great things that came out of that. And anybody who's watched this stream knows that you and I are both on the sort of liberal bent of things. So, what about that convention? What struck you the most out of all that? I know that's a general question, but I have my answer. But I'm curious what struck you the most out of that.
So, people who are close to me know I'm a political junkie. I could literally talk hours every fucking day. It's just I'm literally a political junkie. We have a messenger thread called Brothers and Brews Green Room, where we have some of the folks who've been on the stream, or some of the folks who are closest to us, like Daniel and JHG and Pepper and Manny and all the characters on this stream, Casey and Lauren, all the characters, y'all, are in this thread. And if y'all would like to be added to the thread, hit me up on the side. If you are close to us, y'all can be in. And we've been talking politics in there for a good, like, it's been a week. Nonstop since since Joe backed out, and Kamala's been in. The excitement has literally spread into there. So to answer Doug's question, number one, as a political junkie I am, I've never seen more of a Democratic National Convention or any convention in my whole life. I did not expect to want to watch this as a political junkie. Literally, I didn't want to watch it. I ended up watching the most I've ever seen ever, Doug. It was entertaining. It was smart. It was uplifting. It was it almost felt like sometimes like a pep rally, especially with Walls coming out, and like, he's an old coach, so it just felt like the music was on point. The connection between the people who organize this and the people who the people who organize it and the people who are attending, the connection was amazing. Kamala Harris gave one of the most smart and excellent political speeches I've ever heard in my life. I saw someone comparing it to other like epic speeches, and I almost believe that in this, the context of everything, I believe it was damn near perfect speech. I mean, it was a 90-95. There's just so many takeaways, Doug. I hear this whole now, the ratings were high because the Democrats lied about having a special guest. I'll shut up after this comment, Doug, and then I'll let you, because you asked the question, so of course you can, get your word in here. But it's funny because if Donald Trump did that shit, y'all will be talking about how he's a smart, savvy political person. And that was smart for him to tease a guest that wasn't there. But when the Democrats do it, they're deceiving people. Look, if you were deceived because you thought Taylor Swift and Beyonce was there, when you realize that they weren't, you could have turned off the fucking TV. But you didn't. You stayed through that whole speech. Yes, you did. You did. So no, bitch. Shut the fuck up, actually. Especially for those who are like, oh, the Democrats planned this. No, there was no... Listen, if you feel the buzz and you see what's going around, they didn't have to lie to get people to watch that. Kamala Harris got people to watch that. The buzz around her, the things that she's doing, the things that her campaign was doing. Lastly, Doug, I will shut up. But one of the alarming things about this whole thing, Doug, was that when Joe stepped down and Kamala was elevated, it's basically what happened. Mm-hmm. You saw Kamala's campaign people click in and lock in. And a week into that, Doug, you saw me ask it. I was like, wait, where was this from Joe? Wait, what? So not only was that the right move, Kamala is smart as fuck. How do we know this? Because the DNC was smart as fuck. Everything that she did was smart as fuck. The vice president thing, yeah, that was pretty wise. Because if you contrast Walz with JD Vance, there's really no discussion there. There's no discussion, okay? If you're a wacko crazy guy, there's discussion. Otherwise, Tim Walz is everybody's grandfather. Everybody wants their grandfather to be that way. I do too. Mm-hmm. You have his son literally crying. You see his family crying. They love that man. Why? Because he's a good man. I don't see JD Vance's family out here crying. In fact, I see JD Vance telling this. I
haven't seen JD Vance's family at all.
Right. Because he's hiding his Indian wife. Because again, well, she's not white, but she's cool. Is his words, not mine.
She's a good mother.
Yeah. And I know she's not white, y'all, but she's okay. Really? Okay. Anyway, Doug, those are my thoughts about the wonderful DNC that I didn't think I was going to enjoy as much. And again, I'm a registered independent. I will always be. So I'm not a traditional Democrat. The political scene has forced me to be a Democrat, respectfully, if that makes sense. I've kind of always been a fence sitter. Even back in the day, I haven't voted for, a Republican ever for the presidential level. So, I've always been on the left. Let's not get it twisted. But, that's what I got. It was just amazing. Her speech was amazing. The whole thing was just great. So many great speakers, so many inspirational speakers, so many good people, all that. Yes. Cool.
Yeah. All right. So for me, the thing that I got out of this, there's several things. I will be honest. It's not just one particular thing. The biggest thing I got out of it is something you mentioned, is Tim Walz is just a relatable guy. He's the dude that, his kids love him. He loves his kids. This is what the Republicans have always said they were and never were. This is what Tim Walz is. He's not a Harvard educated guy. He's not that guy. He's just a regular guy who he talks at a level and a cadence that speaks to just everybody that isn't an elite person. JD Vance proclaims he was an Appalachian person. Was not. He didn't grow up anywhere near there. He was there for a brief time, and he shit on Appalachian people all the time. And Trump obviously is just a guy who was born on third base and halfway up to the home plate. So those guys are not everyday people. They're not. JD Vance went and ordered donuts and just said whatever makes sense. Who the fuck says that when you go to order donuts? Hey, give me a dozen of this. Like, the thing that I looked at with this convention, and speaking to the convention specifically, is the relatability of the people that spoke, and the way that Tim Walz just like, and I'm not trying to diminish what Kamala did, because Kamala gave a great speech. She came out 2 days earlier, but no one wasn't expecting. The place went absolutely fucking batshit and crazy because they're like, holy shit, we weren't expecting this. Like, that was just great. She knows the moment and she understands how to speak to people. I am praying Trump debates her, because she's going to destroy that dipshit.
He's not
And
gonna.
I hope Walz debates Vance. I hope Vance.
I think that's going to happen.
I think that's going to happen. I think Trump will. His ego can't get him to not debate her. I really do think that.
Well, I asked this question: did he actually confirm no or not?
Supposedly he did. Now,
No, he confirmed the September 1 on ABC. He confirmed. I know he confirmed the fake Fox one. That's not going to happen. But he confirmed the ABC one. Okay, cool.
Yeah, there was something that they said. I saw from his croonies that he was doing that. And I will tell you, nothing brought me more joy than seeing the things after Kamala's speech and just him having a fucking tantrum like a fucking 5-year-old toddler afterward. Just True Social, he was just posting shit nonstop about everything. One point he said, "Is she talking about me?" Like, all in caps. Like, I think we're at a point where people are tired of the just constant fear and anger. I think we're at a point, and what you get out of the Democratic National Convention this year is joy and happiness and hope. And you're not getting that anywhere else from the other party at all. I can admire you being an independent. I'm a registered Democrat, and I do that because I think that party is as close as we can get to getting the things that I think my family needs, the people I care about I need, and marginalized communities need. That is the closest we can get right now. Now, if there was an independent candidate who could do that, great. There is only one thing that I will say that the Democratic National Convention fucked up on, and is not having a Palestinian speaker. That is the only thing they should have done to address Gaza in some way. And the last night there was a lot of criticism for Democrats for being like a cop out on stage and talking about, like, the thing is, you have to understand, progressives are not the majority of the Democrat Party. Moderate Democrats are the majority of the party. So you need to, if we're going to be a big tent party, if the Democrats keep talking about being a big tent party, that means you got to be a big tent, which means you're not going to be able to cater to the groups that are smaller in the group. You need to be like, I'm going to do what I can to help you, but I also want to help these people. And like, there's friends of mine who are very much like, I can't vote for Democrats because of Gaza. And I'm like, all right, listen, to me, if you are voting not to elect a Democrat, you are fucking over marginalized communities in the United States. If you're gonna be like, well, if Trump gets in, great. No. If Trump gets in, that's gonna make Gaza a million times worse. And I just think that there's a hope and a joy. Like, my wife and I have both had tears in our eyes watching some of these things from Democratic National Convention, just being like, I forgot what it's like to have hope. I forgot what it's like to feel hopeful. Like, I know they're not going to fulfill all the promises because no politician does, but the people smiling, simply fucking smiling, and not a fake, just like this genuine joy and enthusiasm for what they're doing. That's what I got out of that convention. That thing made me so, like, I don't know. There's parts of it I'm just like seeing Tim Walz's son Gus just say, "That's my dad," and that, as a father, that just fucking just my tear ducts were overflowing when I watched that. So yeah.
Well, before we have a star comment I want to get to, but before we get to that, like, I don't know, Doug, I've never understood these progressives that don't want to vote for Biden. I understand, or Biden/Harris. I understand, our stances with Israel, but that's respectfully, that's caked in, y'all. That's what do they call it? That's locked in. We've been locked in on supporting Israel for ever. So it's really interesting to ask or try to ask them to do something different on top of. I'm not sure. Maybe y'all could tell me in the comments what was wrong with Kamala Harris's 3-line statement about this, where she said that she's, she wants a ceasefire. She basically said that, she said in so many words that she's not really a fan of what's going on with Israel. She wants Gaza to have its autonomy. She wants all of it to stop. Like I said in our thread, that was a black woman's way of saying, y'all need to cut the shit, basically. Like Hamas and Israel both cut the shit on both sides, and let's get a ceasefire and let's do this. Like, so Donald Trump says that he wants Israel to, quote, finish the job. He wants Gaza leveled. So I don't understand how we have someone who's, we have a side that says ceasefire, we need to stop this. Again, I think what's going to happen is the Palestinian people are going to say, well, we need to stop giving money to Israel. And I agree with that. I agree.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But you're not going to get that kind of change from Donald Trump. You're only going to maybe get it from Kamala, and we got to put her in there, and then we got to hold her accountable and come after her ass respectfully if she's, does some double speak or does some bullshit. So that goes with anybody, y'all. That goes with anybody. So this isn't a fan thing. This isn't like, I'm not a fan of Kamala Harris. I don't know if you could be a fan. I don't know if you could be truly a quote fan of a politician. Now, there are some politicians that I'm a fan of. We can go to that conversation if you want. But Kamala Harris actually, for me, is not one. I am a supporter. I hope that she gets on. I love to see a black woman in power like that. But at the same time, I thought that her answer in this was excellent last night. I thought she gave the best answer that she could give, given what she has in front of her. So there's that.
Yeah. Well, there's also the idea that apparently Biden had negotiated a ceasefire, and then Trump called Netanyahu himself and said that do not do a ceasefire because that will be bad for me, which is
that's illegal, by the way.
That's illegal as shit. Like somebody who is not a government representative trying to negotiate with another country is illegal. Another thing Trump done that's illegal, add it to his list. So that's fucked up. But here's the thing. He's not the first president did that. Reagan did that. Reagan did a giant fucking piece of shit. And I fucking hate that guy because he fucked this country over in more ways than I can count. But like Reagan did that because Jimmy Carter was trying to negotiate the hostages from Iran way back in the day. And Reagan told Iran not to do it and that he would work with them when the election was done. So Reagan, the giant piece of shit that he is, was a giant piece of shit before he was even president. So sorry, as you said, we could get into politics and I could talk that shit all day. So that's the problem. But yeah.
That, and also our political statements are our own and not those of our guests. Just so you know. So anyway, stopping Project 2025. Yes. But remember, Trump has nothing to do with that. JHG. Mm-hmm.
Look at this guy.
Right. So we have that. So Hex, shout out to Hex. I'm tired of hearing MAGA claim this country is in ruins when it's not. It's beautiful and filled with vibrant working class families who deserve life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness.
Yep, absolutely. Like what else? Like the thing is like our country is increasingly diverse, and the thing that the Republicans don't want is diversity, as evidenced by they're trying to ruin anything that's DEI related or anything like that. So, yes, this is a strength of our country, as Hex said, and we should embrace that.
Yeah, and also while we're here, there's a number of companies and colleges and communities that are rolling back their DEI things that they started in 2020. And y'all are predictable as fuck because there are many black people out here saying, how real is this? And are y'all just doing it for show? Well, come to find out, Harley Davidson
yes,
and companies like yourselves when you roll back something so quick that you were so quick to point out, it shows your what's the word I'm looking for here, Doug? Your weakness. I want to go harder though. I want to say that you're fucking fraudulent. And it's really obvious. And black people see this shit. We see it. In fact, not only do we see it, we called it in 2020. We said that y'all were being fucking not genuine by doing these things at the time where it was politically nice for you to do it. Now it's politically nice for you to, quote, not do it. So fuck you, Harley Davidson, and fuck your stupid motorcycles. Because for at least 4 years, you thought that it was cool to dupe people. And now when the times get hard, you fucking scoot off in your stupid fucking motorcycles with your fucking sidecar into the rest of history, and you're not going to do it anymore because a few of your fucking stupid fucking customers now are upset. And what was this motherfucker out here blowing up his fucking Harley with a fucking motorcycle or with a gun and all this dumb shit that y'all doing? And y'all are all disingenuous pricks for everything that you do. And really, fuck you and fuck off and fuck off and fuck off. All of you, whether it be a fucking college, whether it be I don't care who you are. If you're rolling back DEI things like the fucking Supreme Court rolled back affirmative action, we're also seeing that. Check the admission at MIT, y'all. Google that. MIT admissions. You'll see it this year already that black folks are already getting fucking shafted out of admission. Remember, y'all, DEI is not, and I repeat, it is not giving people shit that they don't deserve. No. It's the opposite. It's giving people who deserve a fair chance. Okay? Got it? This is really simple, but it's really hard for people who are fucking stupid and racist. Thank you. Anything to add, Doug?
No, you said it all there. Like another one's Tractor Supply Company who did that thing. They decided because their people were like, eh. And I said to Joe, we get some because my wife and I, we have a pretty big garden and everything like that. Sometimes we got stuff from them. Never again. I won't get stuff from them. That's the thing is like, I will vote for your company with my money. And if you're willing to support what I think about, then that's how I will talk. I don't have to tell you you suck. I just won't spend money at your place. That's all.
Right. And I was telling my family too that I was really interested in going to the Harley Davidson Museum, which is here in Wisconsin. And I hear it's a nice exhibit, but fuck you, fuck your exhibit, fuck your money, fuck everything that you do, fuck your family, fuck all that shit. I don't care. Fuck your kids, all that shit. I really don't care because you don't care about me. You don't care about my kids. You don't care about Doug's kids who are on the spectrum. You don't care about anybody's kids. Okay. Because DEI covers all that too, y'all. It covers, it covers trans people. It covers people who are, again, have a problem walking in, saying who they are, and being able to be happy and confident in who they are as they apply for a job or as they advance their career. Y'all just say fuck it, because y'all don't care because y'all aren't white. Like, what does JD Vance say? Oh, my wife isn't white, but she's cool. Fuck you, fuck all of you, and fuck it all. I don't really care. So. What I do care is I'm sorry that I'm on a fucking tirade here, and obviously this isn't a kid show, but there was no advance warning that I was just going to say fuck you and fuck all of you and fuck everything you do and fuck everything you come from and fuck everything you're about. Sorry. So there's the disclaimer. Actually, I'm not sorry. Fuck you. Anyway, Doug, this is supposed to be.
Hey, listen, we're pretty passionate about the idea of like being there for our kids and our families. So that's the thing. It's like, hey, man, you're like, fuck you, fuck this. And I'm like, no, you're right. Just like, I don't want to support companies and politicians and whatever who don't think that my family has a right to exist. Just to exist.
So Doug, while we're here tackling tough issues,
all right,
I want to say something else. What,
dude?
I'm on a roll here, so why not?
Let's do it. Let it roll, baby.
So the most troubling thing out of Barren Flow, Doug, which we didn't really get to talk about, and we kind of skated over it, but I'm not going to skate over it now. It's fucking disappointing that the National Brewers Association, Black Brewers Association, had literally no presence at the biggest black brewery festival in America.
And one rep, one.
Okay, so our board member, right? Is that
one?
Right? Is that we don't have to say?
We're
who
not
that
going to
is.
name him, but there was one board member.
We know who that is. Okay,
Yep.
So as compared to having the whole damn board there last year, having a breakout session, having a booth, having all that. So when y'all don't show up, it's clear that you're not there. It's clear. So y'all made a statement by not being there. We got it. Cool. And y'all may have had a problem with one of the organizers or something and all that. I don't know anything about that. And I can't get into it. And I can't really place blame. And I'm not going to try to place blame. All I got to say, though, is that y'all need to work this shit out. Because how the fuck do you have a Black Brewers Association and y'all motherfuckers aren't there at the Black Brewers fucking festival? Seriously, as a black guy, I just have to know. So was there a statement put out? I'm not sure. Is anybody talking to anybody? I'm not sure. If y'all got a problem with whoever the organizers of Barren Flow, y'all need to work that shit out. Like, that's... How do you have a Black Brewers Festival and you have the Black Brewers Association and then they're not together? So I don't know what's wrong, who went wrong, who did what. I really don't give a fuck. Y'all need to be there, okay? Like, so if this is a 1 year gap or something has to be worked out or something, y'all need to be there. Y'all have to support the Black breweries. And the Black breweries are in one place, one time, during fucking one calendar year. There's not even another one. Doug, the other Black Oktoberfest, I think is defunct. I haven't seen anything. I don't know anything. So there's literally one Black Brewer Fest, and the Brewers Association, Black Brewers Association is not there. Again, there's something wrong with this. I don't know who's at fault. I don't give a fuck. Fix it. I didn't really come here to do this, Doug. But one of the things that really fucked with me hard is when Black people are separated and Black people are divided. It just really fucks with me. I just can't do it. Okay? I can't do it. And I understand Harriet Tubman told us some Black folks need to be left behind. Some Black folks, all kinfolk ain't skinfolk. And Harriet Tubman literally shot some of these motherfuckers. So, I feel her. Now, I'm not saying we don't condone any kind of violence here. But I understand the sentiment of her being so upset that she has to have this. This is where I'm at with all of this. And this is my statement. I usually don't dwell into this. Again, I'm not taking sides with Fresh Fest or the Brewers Association. In fact, I love both entities. And I can. And I'm entitled to it. And I'm going to continue to. Okay? But what I'm going to not do and what we're not going to do is act like it didn't happen or act like no one's responsible. So if the people at Fresh Fest are responsible, y'all need to clean it up. If the people at the Brewers Association are responsible, y'all need to clean it up. If y'all both responsible, both y'all need to clean it up. And y'all need to do it soon. Because this is bullshit. For someone who cares about both entities on top of caring about the breweries, because I know these people personally. I personally know a lot of the people on the board. So I ain't coming after y'all. I love y'all. I love y'all. I love you. All of y'all. I can go down a list of you. I don't really want to do that. But I will say, Garrett Oliver, Dr. J, Ayla Sauter, all y'all. I love all y'all. Y'all know I do. The organizers, Barren Flow, Dave Bracey. Love Dave Bracey. Love him. I love what both y'all do. But we gotta fix this one. We gotta. Got it? I know no one listens to me. None of y'all are watching. That's fine. Maybe one of y'all hear about it. Maybe someone will something. But I'm gonna say something about it. I don't know if anybody else is saying anything about it. I don't care what anybody else is doing. I'm gonna say something about it. I don't ever use this platform to bitch about any of y'all. But today, it got to me.
Yeah.
And Doug started this because he started the politics thing and got me all fired up. And the juices are flowing. And fuck Trump and all that shit. And fuck Carly Davidson and the horse and the motorcycle those bitches rode in on. But y'all got to fix this Blackberry thing. Y'all do. Y'all got to fix it. Thank you. And I'm done.
And,
Doug?
but you remember when we were at Barrel and Flow, I said, "Where the fuck is National Black Brewers Association?" And I
Where the
wasn't
fuck
saying that
were
to
they?
be. I didn't say that flippantly. Like we saw one board member there, and I was like, and he was very cool, and he talked to both of us, and that was fine. But it was just weird that none of them were there at the only black beer festival in the entire United States. That felt very weird to me.
Oh, it's
So
beyond
like,
weird.
and then we heard some grumblings in the background about other things about why that happened, and I'm like, get over yourselves. Like this is a thing you were created to try to help black brewers, and you're not at the only festival that is about black brewers. That felt so just fucking wrong to me. And I'm not a black brewer. I'm not a black guy. All I look at is like, if you're trying to help people to break into that industry or do whatever, why are you not there helping the people that need it? Like that just felt really off to me. So
it won't even play anymore.
Ding, ding, ding.
Yeah, so hopefully this is not what we hear. Hopefully
we might.
Hopefully, yeah. Well, it's true because
we like to troll.
we did. We did. All right, dog. Well, thank you for letting me rant. I didn't expect that, but yeah, that was fun. Yep. So we have something to do here, don't we? We do. Where is it? Oh my god.
You got it.
I don't even know how to start.
You can do it. You can do it. I have faith in you.
I don't even know how to start this dumbass stream. It was smoky beer night over here, and these two were amazing. It was great, Doug, because I didn't play in this, like I said. So I drank this one first. And this was the least smoky one, and then it added up to this one, which was the most smoky. If you like smoked beers, these are great. Working Draft Brewing Company out of Madison, Wisconsin, and 11th Hour Brewing out of Pittsburgh. Doug and I are still drinking through our Barrel and Flow beers. Hell, I'll be drinking through Doug's beers that he gave me until fucking February. But anyway, Doug, what's going on?
So I had three. I had the Loaf of Lager, which is from two locals out of Philly. This was I did not have a bad beer. I had a really good beer night. So this was just good basic lager, really good. So local lager. So Proclamation, which is a goza with strawberry, banana, and guava. This was a very good summery drink. This was really, really good. Very drinkable, very crushable. But the best thing I had was the Black is Beautiful Baltic Porter from Funky Town. I love a good Baltic Porter, but this was unlike any Baltic Porter I had. It was not quite as sweet as a lot of Baltic Porters can be. Not super roasty either. It was like right in the middle. It's 7.1, and it's just like drinks like it's fucking 4. Like I'm just so good. Yes, you are correct.
Wait, where's that one?
That's the Proclamation, the goza with the banana, strawberry, and guava.
I don't remember this banana that much in that one.
No, banana was not very present. Very guava, strawberry heavy, almost no banana presence. So yeah.
All right, y'all. So next week we got real quick. Ren from what is it again, there, Doug?
Mulinated Meadery out of Buffalo, New York, baby.
And he is like the almost, and again, I don't mean any disrespect to anybody. He's almost the mead guy for Hannah's cider person. Meaning, if meads aren't approachable to you, his probably are going to be. Same with Hannah's ciders. You know what I mean? Hannah's ciders are approachable to everyone. It's not this straight cider. So you can't say, oh, I don't like cider, and then roll up to Hannah's place. Because I mean, you can, but you might be surprised because she makes
Yeah.
ciders that aren't really cidery, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
They're very approachable. And his Ren's meads were. This is the second year we had them, and I thought this year was better than last year, Doug.
For sure. I agree.
All right, so we will wrap up. Zach, nice to see you back.
Yeah, glad to see you again, man. It's been too long. You need to pop in here. So.
Look at that. Man, what? Man,
And Daniel said it worked, so it's all good.
oh, look, it worked, Zach. Chill, buddy. All right. We will have a great weekend. It was a great DNC weekend. Y'all get out there and register if you haven't. Y'all check your registration on .com, please, because they throw people off, especially where you're at. I mean, Zach has the luxury of being in California, the California that, is, quote, run like a hellhole all of a sudden. Oh, look at Doug. Well, Doug also said he would play games with me, but he hasn't yet, too, so. You may have to wait in line. But
well, we got a lot to talk about there because I don't recall you saying that, but I'd be happy to play games with you fuckers.
You said it, not me. You said it.
Okay.
You said, I got to play a game with you, Greg. Because remember, I'm on the Xbox.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, we do.
We'll figure it out. So we need to wrap. But we want to thank y'all for being here again.
Yeah.
Next week, we're going to have a treat. Ren was here last week, but we got Ren now. All to ourselves. So we're going to get back into our fuckery of watching. What were we watching? What are we listening to? It's been like months since we talked about any of this shit. I'm sure Doug could literally.
I have a whole queue, dude.
Yeah, you probably have 2 hours worth of shit that you watched in the past 2 months that we can get to. But we've been busy, so I don't know about that. But we will be back with our what is watching, what are you drinking, all that shit. Y'all bring that next year.
Okay.
Harriet, man, she didn't fuck around. But anyway, y'all have a great weekend. It's gonna be nice here in Wisconsin. Hopefully it's nice where y'all at. And on that note, we're getting out of here. Doug, thank you for everything. Thanks M Sauter, because she was great.
Thanks, Em.
And yeah, hit the light. I'm gonna do this right, y'all. I'm gonna hit the credits and I'm gonna end the stream.